Hello, and welcome to Clement Grandin. He's VP Business Development and the project owner for Metaverse and Web3 at Foundever. Now, Foundever and HFS worked together recently on a Horizons report. Foundever surprised us a little bit with some of what they do. And I think it's an interesting opportunity for us to discuss today, Clement, the various aspects of what Foundever does. And I think just to level set as well, Foundever is probably not a name that is familiar to many of our listeners and viewers today. And that's because you're the result of a rebrand. So perhaps you can tell us a little bit about who you actually are so that folk are a bit more familiar.
Sure, and thanks for having me, David. So Foundever, we are a global CX leader. We provide customer support, technical solution, and all kind of CX services for companies. So we work with about 750 brands. We have 170,000 employees providing customer support through all channels of communication. So think about voice, chat, and many others. We also provide more advanced type of solution like self-service, automation, and analytics in the context of the customer experience. We're probably more known as Sitel Group, formerly Sitel Group, but of course with the integration between Sykes and Sitel, it made more sense to change the name, rebrand the company. And I think this rebranding is also about shifting from the pure BPO call center customer support aspect of our business and going more toward the customer experience and more of the innovative side of what we've been doing over the last years. And of course, the metaverse being a big component of what's next for the customer experience. That's definitely part of the process and of the project to provide more services and more capabilities to our clients when it comes to the metaverse.
And we were talking before we started recording today a bit about the different aspects of what you do in relation to the metaverse. Mm-hmm. I think what was interesting to me when we first met and spoke was how much Foundever is involved in, genuinely and deeply involved in the metaverse in terms of governance and customer service, safety, for those companies that are already deeply embedded or make up the elements of the metaverse. And I know that's just one aspect of what you guys do. So perhaps you can talk us through maybe a couple of examples of how that works, how you're delivering that customer service, but also what you're learning from doing that, because I think that puts you in a very strong position. You're actually learning from doing in this space and then taking that back to create your own propositions and your own support for your own customers who are going on their own metaverse journey.
Exactly, yeah, and I think you covered really the first aspect of what we do when it comes to the metaverse. So it's really about providing customer support, technical support, customer protection, customer engagement solutions to the companies that are the building blocks of the metaverse. So think about gaming organizations or companies providing the hardware interface to jump into the metaverse. So in that sense, that's what we've been doing for a very long time, helping those companies provide the right solutions to onboard their customers, to support them, to make sure they feel secure, to make sure they're protected, they're engaged, and make sure that the experience is successful when they are in the metaverse. So that's really the first aspect of what we're doing, providing those customer support solutions to companies building the metaverse or those building blocks of the metaverse. And the second aspect is more about helping brands join the metaverse. So we're considering the metaverse as a new customer experience channel, a new place where brands can delight their customers by providing new kind of experiences that are more immersive, more connected, more gamified, more social. In that sense, we have a strong focus on the 3D aspect of the metaverse and less on the VR aspect of the metaverse. We think that the VR hasn't reached mass adoption yet. and people are more familiar with the kind of the PlayStation and Xbox and 3D aspect of the metaverse, and feel maybe today more comfortable moving around and navigating and discovering with an avatar in a 3D environment. So in that sense, that's the second aspect of what we're doing for our clients, exploring with them what it means for them to build their own world, their own metaverse environment, a new channel that they can open to provide new kind of services, new kind of experiences, and connect with their customers at a deeper level.
So how are you seeing the market going? We've all heard the kind of negativity around Meta allegedly reducing its investments in the metaverse. From my understanding, that's not the case. Their AI investments are very much targeted on delivering the metaverse, so it's all investment in the same direction. Then we hear Disney shutting one part of its business that happens to have metaverse in brackets in there somewhere, and these stories keep coming along. People feel like it's not taking off as fast as perhaps it was predicted to do a year ago. You've got the new challenge of a shiny object in ChatGPT and generative AI, as if that's again somehow different from the journey towards the metaverse. So what are you seeing in terms of the numbers? I mean, you guys are actually managing the volume of customers that are actually using the metaverse, so you've got a good sense of what's really happening rather than what's being reported. And how's that comparing with the demand you have from your customers for their own journeys of exploration into the metaverse?
Yeah, we've been in discussion over the last 6 to 12 months with a really good portion of our 750 clients. The majority of them, of course, hear about the fact that the metaverse is no longer as hyped as it was before, that there is probably less interest or less activity around those topics or concepts. But still they're interested in exploring what it means to provide more immersive experiences. So without talking about the metaverse in itself and the concept and trying to make a concept a reality for them, it's more about thinking about their brand, their customers, the expectations of their customers, and trying to figure out what it means to provide new kind of experiences that are more engaging and more immersive. So that's the work that we've been doing with them in this, I would say, down period for the metaverse, really trying to understand concretely and with specific use cases how we can drive value for them, value for their business, but also value for their customers by developing those new experiences. So it's not about just building the metaverse for them. It's about helping them understand what the new technologies bring to the table, the opportunities that they have by using those new technologies, and trying to figure out what's the best use case, the best approach for their customers. And it's interesting to see that the use cases are different from one vertical to another, from one client to another. For some of them, it's about leveraging those immersive experiences to drive more traffic, to drive brand awareness. For others, it's more about driving sales, building communities, tapping into new generation of customers. So really, the work that we're doing with them is very focused on the customers, their expectations, and how we can delight them more than trying to make this concept of the metaverse real.
Yeah. So there's a lot going on. One of the questions that fascinates me at the moment, when we're dealing with a new paradigm, when we're dealing with something that people don't have experience of, you can't reach to your case study backlog and go, look at all the great work we've done here. How are you actually going about selling this? How are you getting people to sign up for any kind of exploration of what is a very unknown territory?
Yeah, I think there's two aspects to that. The first one is we've been in the customer experience space for the last 30 plus years. We work again with a large number of companies. We're in more than 40 countries, servicing more than 9 million customers every day. So in that sense, we have a great understanding of what's going on in the market in each industries. A great opportunity to assess the trends, the evolution of the customer behaviors across the different verticals, across the different industries. And that combined with our scale, with our global footprint, and with our ability to innovate for our clients, I think is really the first aspect of what makes us a great partner in the metaverse space. So really our existing capabilities, capacity to innovate with and for our clients. And the second aspect is all the partnership that we've recently put in place with probably the best companies in the metaverse space. So we're really working closely with developers, with metaverse platform provider, and with many other organizations to make sure that we build internally our expertise and that we're able to provide customized solutions to our clients and their end customers, again, based on the specifics of their activity.
You mentioned acquiring new partners. I think it was something when we spoke, when we were putting together the Horizon study on Metaverse services with you. You were currently completing your search for the top providers for infrastructure, human interface, decentralization, spatial computing, the creator economy, discovery and experience. Have you managed to complete that search now?
Yeah, I would say we are almost there. There are a lot of very interesting solutions on the market. What we're really looking for is a partner or partners that are going to be able to be agile and innovate with us and with our clients. We've selected partners in Europe and in the US so that we can really have those two I would say aspect or more agility in the way we serve our customers and the way we can develop and implement. As part of our offering on the building the metaverse for our customers, we also have a strong emphasis on education and benchmark and helping them first build the roadmap for success. So I would say that that's really helpful to have partners to also assess what's going on, what are the new technologies, where it's going, to just have a temperature check in the industry, I would say. So yeah, it's definitely moving along. It's been a long process, but again, we wanted to make sure that we find the right partners.
And in that spirit of learning, by engaging in the metaverse, both providing the customer service and security, and also building with partners, what have you learned that is new and different, and everyone should pay special attention to? And what's just the same old?
Yeah, I would say four key things. The first one is the gamification aspect. There is definitely a trend for brands to try to gamify themselves and provide those more engaging and more fun and more gamified experiences. So that's really the first thing that we see that's really accelerated. The second aspect is about social connection, and I think the metaverse or those immersive worlds really provide a new opportunity for brands to engage with their community, to create more social experiences that are more immersive, and that's really a second aspect. Of course, social media have always been there, and there is a lot that we do in terms of social media management and engagement and community management and more, but that immersive aspect of the metaverse is really what's driving new kind of innovation and what we're working on with our clients. The third aspect is about user-generated content, and I think that's also something that's coming along with Web3 and more of the decentralized aspect of Web3 and blockchain and NFT and what those technologies are offering. So the clients trying to figure out how they can engage the customers at a deeper level and almost have customers co-create with them and build with them. We've seen many examples. I think Nike with their recent project is probably what's the most conclusive, but these are things that we're also getting from our clients, thinking about strategies in the metaverse to co-create and engage the customers. And the last thing is probably around AI, and you talked about it. AI is definitely at the forefront of everything, and especially when we talk about the call center or the CX industry, that's driving, automation, cost reduction, personalization of the experience, increasing customer satisfaction. So when it comes to the metaverse, we're really trying to understand how we can use this technology to drive an even more successful experience for the customers. And I think AI is going to help to build those spaces faster, to have more quality or more personalization for the customers, but also to drive new kind of services and support solution within the space. Things that we're working on with some of our partners are around avatar bot. So really the possibility to interact with the avatar in an automated format. So call bot, or voice bot or chat bot, but in the format of the avatar, represented by an avatar. And that means that now those avatars can provide, services, can guide within the experience, can respond to questions, but in a more immersive way, instead of having to, that little pop-up and chat in the corner of your screen. You have that experience in a more immersive approach.
And on that, are you thinking in terms of those bots, those avatars being informed by large language models so that they can actually respond in real time to the questions that they may be asked by a customer in a quite a human way?
Exactly.
Yeah, I can imagine if you could kind of code up to get 80% of what any of us do on a daily basis, we can start cloning ourselves. We can get around and do a little more work. But that's maybe a story for
and I think
day.
that's really at a first level, right? Of course, there will be a first level of interactions that these avatars will be able to handle, but of course, you always have the human aspect of it that's right behind and ready to answer maybe more complex or
exactly. And that's how I imagine. So
yeah.
let's say there's 20 of me out there that can do 80% of what I do, and then when it gets a little bit difficult, I have to intervene.
You have to work at some point, right?
It's a very similar model. Okay, just from that, so there's lots of learnings. How are you applying, or how are you helping your teams develop as a result of all of these new learnings about what is a new paradigm that's fast coming down the track? It's going to impact how they work. We've already talked about some of that parts of their work being supported, at least, if not replaced by that kind of technology. How are you helping them make the leap? What are they having to learn about?
Yeah, no, that is great question. So when we look at the metaverse and its impact, we're looking at it as what does it mean for our clients and their end customers, but we're also looking at what it means for our employees and trying to understand how the technologies can drive value within our organization. So we're looking at the entire employee journey and trying to figure out how we can leverage those technologies to drive value. So we're looking at onboarding. Is there a way to better onboard faster at a cheaper cost with a better experience for the employee? We're looking at it from the training perspective, continuous education, but also socialization, especially for our remote workforce, socialization, and also how this immersive environment could potentially increase the productivity on some aspect. So collaboration for work. So we're working on different proof of concepts using different platforms. And really our approach is not to say that in the next year, we're going to have a big metaverse where everything is going to happen and our employees will spend 100% of their time in this space. We're looking at it from, again, a very grounded perspective on where can we really bring value and ROI for our employees, and how is that going to help us be better and more effective and more competitive for our clients. So that's the first aspect, testing the technologies internally that at the end we're also offering to our clients. The second aspect is, of course, about education and bringing the right expertise. So we have developed a few training programs. We are also delivering workshops internally, workshops for our frontline business development and account management teams so that they have the right understanding of what's going on in their industry and they're able to have meaningful discussions with their client. Workshop also with our product owners and product teams so that they can understand how potentially those technologies can bring value in their specific lines of business. And also looking at our executive team, because of course it's always important to have leaders that are well informed and understand the trends and at a deeper level. So we've been bringing many thought leaders in the space to really have those conversations and also hear from them what's their perspective on the metaverse and the trends in the metaverse.
Okay, so well, we're coming to the end of our time here, and I think what would be great is if you could leave our enterprise listeners and viewers with a few thoughts on how they should go about taking their first steps into the metaverse. What have you learnt from your journey? What mistakes did you hit? Maybe save folk a bit of pain. So what's the first things they should think about?
Yeah, I think my biggest recommendation would be to go above the concepts and above the hype and the marketing aspect of the concept of the metaverse, and really try to focus on concrete use case and value for the customers, and not try to achieve everything in the next 6 months to 12 months, but really have an iterative and an evolutive approach that's really customer centric and focus on what the customer wants, what the customer needs, what's going to drive value for them. That's the approach that we had, over the last year, and we see that that's what's, really helping our clients, and always keeping in mind, the customer support, the customer protection, and the customer engagement, because building, great worlds, immersive experiences is one thing, but making sure that you have the right strategy to engage, to onboard, and to make sure that the experience is successful. I think that's what will make the difference. And technology evolves, trends evolves, so I think it's more about keeping an eye open, and always testing and iterating, listening to the customers and taking their feedback into considerations.
Clement, that's fantastic advice. I'd like to thank you on behalf of our listeners and viewers. So, Clement Grandin, very many thanks for your time today. Really appreciated it, and I'm hoping we'll continue our conversations. Really keen to see how Foundever continues to develop its relationship with the metaverse and the success stories it's able to develop and tell as a result. So thank you very much indeed.
For sure. Thanks, David, for having me.